Hello and welcome to Empowered Learning. This video is another example of how to construct a confidence interval for a population variance and population standard deviation. This time though, we actually have some raw data. So we see that we have our data values here, and of course we have 17 of them. So if we want to use technology to do this, one way that we can do this is do this in StatCrunch. And so to do this in StatCrunch, we can just pull StatCrunch up. If you were working in, let's say, the My Stat Lab, you would have a little icon to press, and it will come up for you automatically. So once we're here, we'll go ahead and list our data as we see it right here. And then after we list our data, of course, we want to go here to Stat and then do Variance Stat, one sample. And this time, instead of going to summary, like in the last video that you watched, we need to go with data. And so here we just select variable 1 column. We want to come down here to the confidence interval. And this time we were asked to do a 99% confidence interval instead of just a 95. And so now, after we get that in, we compute. And so we see here that we have our sample variance along with our degrees of freedom and our limits here. Okay, and so of course the answers that we're looking for as far as the population variance will be this number here, and I'll go ahead and copy that, and this number here, and of course we'll round that to the number of decimal places asked for. Now, we also know that we need to talk about the population standard deviation. Okay, so the estimate for that, we would just take the square root of these numbers here. So moving on, what I'm going to do here is copy this number. Well, I'm probably better off just copying this. So I'm going to copy this, and then after that, I'm going to go to Stat. I lost my train of thought here. Data, and then compute expression. And then from that point, we will just type in square root, type in our number here, and then compute. And so that will be our first value. And then, of course, the second one will come and do the same thing here. And so we'll go to data, compute, expression, and then we'll do square root and type in that number. And then we will get the next one. So, of course, these two numbers here would be our endpoints for our range for our population standard deviation, and these two numbers here would be our range for our population variance. And so we come and put those in here. Then, of course, if we were to round those numbers, we would get here, and let's make sure that this is right, we'll get 0.039 or 39 thousandths, and on the upper end we would get 0.258 or 258 thousandths. And so if we interpret the result, we know that with 99% confidence, it could be said that our population variance is going to be in between these two values here. Okay, and so here we would select this one, and so this number would be 0.39, this one would be 0.258. Okay, and so of course for our standard deviation, again, if we look, you see that our standard deviation was in between 0.966 blah 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 and 0.5075 blah 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 blah. Okay, so if we're rounding this to 3 decimal places, this would be 0.197, and this would be 0.508. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put that in now. All right, so let's go ahead and put that in. So this will be 0.197, and this will be 0.508. And of course, if we interpret that result, then of course we're going to be saying within 99% confidence, we know that our population standard deviation is going to be between these two numbers here. So again, we'll select this. And our last number here will be 0.508. And so that's how we use technology to be able to find a confidence interval for both our variance and our standard deviation for our population.